Okay, ABN is at Aircraft Interiors Expo in Hamburg. We're on our stand, on the ABN stand, and I'm joined by Robin Butler, who is the president and managing partner of Omnavia. Now, welcome, Robin, to Hamburg.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Hope you're enjoying it so far. It's early days on the first day, but a lot of work going on out around us, a lot of buzz.
Indeed.
So, tell us a bit about Omnavia. What is it? What do you do?
Yep.
And why you're here this week?
Thank you. Well, Omnavia, first of all, the name of the company is sort of a portmanteau. Omni meaning all,
Yep.
Avia meaning aviation, interiors.
Okay.
So we have all you need for your aviation interiors.
So we're talking materials here. We're
talking materials.
I mean, carpets, what a whole range of things that you might need for an interior of an aircraft.
Exactly. It's really more focused on soft goods.
Yeah.
So we begin with carpets, upholstery and panel fabrics, leather, synthetic leather for headliner and other parts of the aircraft interior. And then we get behind the scenes.
Yeah.
We also offer seating foams, panel foams, fire block, fire resistant fabrics for all sorts of things to make the aircraft safer and quieter and more comfortable, as well as beautiful and stunning.
Okay. And Omnavia aims for a particular sector in the market, doesn't it? So explain that.
We do. Our primary target market is the medium-sized refurbishment center.
Yeah.
And this is the company that is on an airfield somewhere. It might be a family-owned business or a small 5-10 person company where the owner of the company or the primary principal of the company is the salesperson.
Yeah.
They're the designer. They're the buyer. They're the specifier.
Right.
So they're wearing a lot of hats.
You said it was the mom and pop type company.
Sometimes it's a mom and pop company. Yeah.
There's a lot of them out there. I mean, what's the size of the market?
There are more that you would imagine. All over the United States, and even we sell to 6 continents.
Okay. So I was going to say U.S. but global. I mean, you're not limited to geographics.
Indeed.
And who are their customers then?
Well, their customers are then the private aircraft owners.
Right. Okay.
So oftentimes, for example, our primary customer, ideal customer, has their customer that pulls an airplane into their facility, says, I want to get new avionics.
Yeah.
But while you've got the interior pulled, we need new upholstery, we need new carpet, we'd like to go ahead and refresh the interior. So while you're doing the avionics and upgrading that, let's go ahead and do a full interior refurbishment, retrofit as well.
So we're more used, I guess, in ABN talking about the commercial aircraft space.
Yes.
We do touch on private.
Yep.
It's an interesting market, obviously. There's lots of private jets out there. How often do they get refurbished? I mean, there's no rule to it, I guess. It's the owner's whim. If they want to have a new interior, they'll have a new interior. They've got the money to do it. So, but how often do they tend to do it?
That's typically the case. Very often, an owner who is keeping their aircraft will refresh it maybe every 10 years.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with a customer a couple of weeks ago, and he said, this is the 3rd time I've done this global. Last time I did it was 9 years ago. The seat covers are still in perfect condition from the leather that we use, which is a leather that we sell, as it turns out. And but they just want a color change. They want a new carpet design and that sort of thing. That happens very often. Also, when the aircraft changes hands, then that will be refreshed.
Yeah.
And then finally, aircraft that get a lot of use, charter aircraft, need to be updated every 2-3 years because they get a lot of seat time and there's a lot of wear and tear on the interior.
I was going to say, you've got those growing market of apps where you can charter these private jets now.
Yes, exactly.
It's a fairly new phenomenon, but they're being used more, so
they're
therefore
used very quickly.
We'll need more refreshment. So tell us about why Omnavia exists then. What problems are you trying to solve for your clients, and what issues do they and what challenges do they face?
Well, thank you. That's a great question. Where it all started was we have another company called Spectre Interior Products that is focused on the commercial side of the market and the defense industries. We have a very good website, and I started 15 years ago to get inquiries from some of these smaller shops saying, can I buy your sheepskin? Can I buy some of your leather? And pretty soon it was, you need to start a private aircraft company, somebody that's serving this end of the market. We need more people like you that can supply a number of different materials to us. So that's kind of where the idea started.
Yep.
From there it just grew. I pulled some investors in, and we decided to go forward with the company. So we started in 2012.
Okay.
And again, it was with the intent of serving the small to medium-sized market. But we've gotten a fair amount of business from some of the larger MROs and refurbishment centers that are around the U.S.
Yep.
We've done some things, some fleet refurbishments with some charters, and we still support today some of the OEMs with some of our product.
Okay. And I know for the designers, I mean, it's a massively logistical exercise in bringing together what is a very complicated supply chain, I guess. Lots of different suppliers and so on. So the idea is that to let them focus on the design and what they do best, rather than running a logistics company, I suppose. Is that what you?
That's true, and that's true really for the small to medium-sized companies, where you have an owner that may be the salesperson, they may be the design coordinator, they are the buyer. Sometimes they're out on the flight line or in the hangar actually doing the installation.
Yeah.
And so they wear a lot of hats. It's very complex, and if they're doing a project where they have to handle 10 separate vendors, it becomes a logistical problem for them, where we offer a full range of products. They can come to one source. We can offer them the entire spectrum of materials for the interior and make it easy on them.
Yeah. How's things we talk a lot about the supply chain issues in aviation, and more broadly, it's been pretty bad since COVID, and things haven't really got back, and maybe we'll never get back to normal again, given what's going on. So are you helping with that side of things, just purely making the supply chain a lot more seamless?
I think we are to some degree.
Yeah.
We weren't affected that much by supply chain. So we've had a fairly good uninterrupted flow of materials from all of our vendors. Our carpet manufacturers have been very steady. They suffered a dip, particularly those that participate in the commercial and residential markets. They had a dip in their demand, but we really never had an interruption in supply chain for them.
No.
Some of our one of our leather manufacturers is seeing some impact from the automotive industry right now, and so I think we're going to see some of that as the future goes along with some of the new economic policies that have just been implemented by our government.
We'll wait to see the impact of that.
Who knows?
Yeah.
There are going to be some challenges.
Interesting times. But I mean, what people are doing, I've already had a conversation with somebody earlier, is they're bringing some of their supply chain closer to home.
Yeah.
Just it's a de-risking of the business. Are you having to sort of look at your mix of where you get your stuff from?
Well, it's a little early to tell yet. In one particular case, yes.
Yeah.
We are having to look around, again, because of inventory issues and that sort of thing. Being able to, it's all about in this little market, I'll call it little market. It's a big market, but in working with those smaller companies, time is of the essence. The airplane rolls in the hangar, they make decisions on soft goods, and when the aircraft is out of service, it costs the owner money. They may have to lease another aircraft. So the whole idea is for them to turn that interior refurbishment as quickly as possible and return the aircraft to service. So it's imperative that we have quick supply chain, quick delivery of the materials that they can now do the installation with.
And how's the actual the changing of the materials? What's happening there? In commercial aerospace, obviously the push is to lighter, more sustainable, more recyclable. So you've seen the same sort of thing?
Well, we see it in both. Again, we have Spectre Interior Products. It is involved in the commercial side of the business, and our key product there is a product called Is It Leather. That's a synthetic leather for aircraft seating. Yeah. And yes, of course, the push toward lighter weight and sustainability and durability are all of paramount importance, along with price. Price is king too. So all of those factors weigh in. On the private aircraft side of the business, you see some weight is not as much of an issue. You see some push towards sustainability and the desire for having products that can tell a green story. Yeah. And so we try to work in that area as well.
Yeah, probably less of a corporate push for them because it's a private.
It's more of a personal thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a sector that requires there to be lots of high wealth individuals, and that requires the economies to be strong.
Yep.
that side of things, the very high end, seems to have been quite resilient. Even go back to 2008, even with the crash, the really wealthy seem to sort of ride it. So are you sort of recession resistant in this sector, do you think, or do you see the bumps and troughs like everybody else?
I would say we're likely more resistant to a recession than typical markets.
Yeah.
And again, because those high net worth individuals generally have the assets, the resource to be able to do with their aircraft what they'd like to do.
Yeah.
Their income is not as affected as other folks that are not quite in that market level.
Yeah.
So is there going to be, are there sort of dips and rises in the demand chain? Yeah, there are. I don't think that we're going to see that. We didn't see a drop, as a matter of fact, in COVID. When COVID happened and things started shutting down, we got our team together, and I said, I think it's probably going to be good for us because there are a lot of people that will not want to fly commercial.
Yeah.
They're going to want to fly charter, and in fact, that proved to be the case. Our business actually increased during the pandemic.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you think is coming up for the future? Well, how are you planning to future-proof your business? What sort of trends are you seeing that you keep an eye on?
We try to stay on the cutting edge of new developments in decor.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a couple of things. One is three-dimensional wallscapes for cabin decor.
Okay.
Where instead of having a flat panel, a window panel, or an entry bulkhead, we're seeing textures being applied to that create some interest, and you can take that theme of a particular shaped widget on a wall surface to a shape in a quilted pattern on a seat cover to a design in the carpet.
Okay.
And integrating that sort of an aesthetic.
Yeah, really getting the design side of it to a next level almost,
It is, and creating some interest where there wasn't the ability to do that before. There's some great technology that's there.
If you've got a private jet, show it off and make it look great inside as well as out.
You want it to look better than your buddies at the next hangar down the jetway. Another thing that is, it's not so much an aesthetic difference, but we also offer a system for clear coating cabinet veneers. That's a UV curable product, where the old method of using solvent-based clear coats would take 24 hours to dry and a lot of labor. This particular product can be applied, cured with a black light, and it's dry to the touch in 2 minutes instead of 24 hours.
Okay.
So what that has the effect of doing is enabling a shop to be able to turn a cabinet refinishing job in a couple of weeks instead of 4, 5, 6 weeks, and again, return to service, getting the airplane
a time saving
back in the hands of the owner. Absolutely.
Yeah. And final thoughts on the show. It's first day. You'll be trawling the stands, I guess. What are you here looking for today?
I'm here to we've got some meetings set up for, as a continuation of some programs that we're working on now. I'm always looking around for the new opportunities. There might be a new vendor, a new technology that's out there that might be a fit for our portfolio. So I'm just here to learn and renew friendships and, see what's happening.
Do you see good innovation going on in this space?
Well, there always is. Yeah. It's 11 o'clock on the first day, so I hadn't seen a lot, although I did see a great configurator on the Kydex stand a little while ago, where with a touch of a couple of buttons, you can be in a 3D space and see how the furnishings in an aircraft can change when you change the surface materials on them in real time.
Right.
Very cool stuff.
Yeah. Well, look, Robin, have a good 3 days. Hope we see lots of interesting stuff, and good luck with the future. Thanks for joining us on AVN.
It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
No problems. Thank you.
Thank you.